Today, my guest is Dr. Lauren Hamel, and you are the president of. You're going to have to help me on this one because now that there's this new name and this merger has happened, is it Dr. Lauren Hamel, president of Beaumont Health, Spectrum Health, Lakeland? Is that right?
It's kind of BHSH Lakeland.
Okay.
At least temporarily.
Absolutely. That's good to know. Hopefully that's a temporary name because this Spectrum Health, Beaumont Health, this is a pretty big thing that has happened in our community just recently of the two major health systems in Michigan merging together. Tell me a little bit about sort of how this came about.
So, you know that the healthcare ecosystem, like many other parts of our economy, are pulling together and aggregating into larger businesses, and that certainly has happened in healthcare across the country, and it's happening with us. This is not something that's new to us. Of course, even our own community, Lakeland, was a collection of a number of hospitals that came together to be a stronger single organization. It's an exciting transition. Beaumont and Spectrum Health were the two largest health systems in the state of Michigan, and have now come together as an even larger organization, 22 hospitals and 64,000 team members.
Wow. And so does that make this health system one of the largest employers in the state?
Certainly makes us the largest employer in the state and the 15th largest health system in the nation.
Wow. So let's talk about some things that maybe people are wondering about. What changes besides the name and these merging of these health systems and being able to sort of mold or gel resources together? What changes for people here in Southwest Michigan?
So immediately, not much. I mean, healthcare, even in a virtual world, is mostly local. And so that doesn't change. You still have a local connection to your doctor, to your hospital, to your emergency room. Those things don't change. Over time, what changes when you have a merger like this or consolidation like this is we work to make the back office functions much more streamlined and economical. If we're going to remain competitive and give the best care to our friends and neighbors, you have to make sure that you've streamlined all those expensive back office functions. We've done that a number of times in this community. We did that again when Lakeland merged with Spectrum Health, and we'll do that again as a new, larger single organization.
Yeah, and as we've known right now, there's obviously been a lot of stresses to the healthcare systems with being able to find workers and use those resources. Does this now sort of, since merging these all together, we're kind of melding our rosters together of people, and people are able to help in many different ways in many different facilities then, right?
Yeah, oftentimes, and really, kind of transformative or stressful times, like COVID has been.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's easier to pull off some of the things you need to change in a large health system. And I'll just give you a recent example. COVID was such an unbelievable stress on healthcare. It challenged everything that we do every day with staffing and supplies and PPE and vaccines and medications and monoclonal antibodies and on and on. Lakeland being part of a larger health system was dramatically better for us in this community, in that we were able to keep those supply lines more open to get those vaccines quicker and administrate them more effectively. So, that size really is helpful. It brings a lot of resources and a lot of IQ points together, and you can respond to crises like that in a much more efficient way. And so we've experienced that as Lakeland and with our combination with Spectrum, and I'm confident that we're going to experience that again. It will help prepare all of us for that kind of uncertain future.
What changes as far as leadership? Not much, as from what I've seen.
No, not really, not a lot.
Your job, so that's good.
Yeah, I still have my job. So Lakeland was a division of Spectrum Health. Lakeland is now a division of this larger organization. So that hasn't changed. And that means we're going to continue doing about what we're doing in a very similar way. But we have some new friends and neighbors to collaborate with. We have physicians across the state, now nearly 12,000 of them that are part of the family, And we're looking for ways to get together and compare notes and find out what's working best and what we can do to improve local care from what other folks have learned in other parts of the state. We've already been doing that, of course, with our friends up in Grand Rapids for the last 3.5 years in the current merger with Spectrum. And we'll do that in the merger with Beaumont as well.
What would you say to those in the community that may be skeptical about this merger and maybe unsure about bigger, sometimes is not always better with certain things? We know even in our community, we've seen banks or even media companies merging together and doing things like that. What would you say to somebody that is kind of unsure about this whole thing?
You have every right to be skeptical. You know, we all have experience where things have come together and they haven't gotten better, they've gotten worse. And I would just say oftentimes the motivation to get bigger is to make money. And often that is what's in first place. You know, certainly in the for-profit world, you'd expect shareholder value is going to be a prime consideration. What brought us together was a commitment to create value. Creating value is, you know, creating healthcare that is more affordable, more personalized, higher quality. It's not about making money. It's about delivering value to our community. And we are completely committed to do that. Is it hard work? Of course. Sometimes you take a step back and then a step forward. We get that. But what brought us together, I think, is the right motives. We're going to be true to that as we work through our integration activity over the next several years. And I'm confident that we will deliver higher value care across all of Michigan because of that commitment.
Obviously, you're going to keep the sign companies busy with maybe some sign changes in the future at some point. But what about other parts of the community aspect, not just health, but the community as a whole? How does this merger of Spectrum Health and Beaumont Health benefit those in Southwest Michigan?
So I'll give you one example. Lakeland is very much committed to health equity. That's making sure that everybody gets access to health care, and not just health care, but health. Even more importantly, we've made some very significant financial commitments, some board level commitments to doing that work. And that commitment is now present, of course, across all of Spectrum, and will extend to the east side of the state as well. We'll learn from each other. We'll find things we're doing are going to work in Grand Rapids. We'll see things in Southfield are going to work here in St. Joe and Benton Harbor. That kind of learning environment, when you're making those kinds of commitments to do new things, that kind of learning environment is really valuable. So, you know, I'm confident that will bring value home.
Yeah, like it says on the website, creating a new health system for Michigan by Michigan. So and working with the community on many of these different things. And when people have questions, and you'll be able to get answers and talk with the community. And I'm curious to see how this all pans out and what new things will come out of it, because it's certainly a new thing for those in our community. And like you said, the merging of these two health systems, leadership, healthcare facilities, as well as all these physicians and people that are working with these two organizations, it's all new right now. And it's all sort of happening quickly. If we want to know more information, maybe we have questions, we want to know more about a lot of this stuff, you guys have a lot of information on your website, and I've got that in front of me, and that's formichiganbymichigan.org, so people can talk about that stuff or ask people that they know. I know quite a few of you folks that work with Spectrum Health Lakeland, so I'm sure I'll be calling you up and asking you more questions when I find out more things. But Dr. Lauren Hamel, thank you so much for spending a little time with me and chatting with me about it.
All the best, Johnny. Thanks.